Hi everyone, I am MayLin Heuchling. I am Chief of Staff and also moonlighting as Head of Comms at 12. 12 is the carbon transformation company, which I think exists really nicely and elegantly within the decentralization space. So what do I mean by that? So conceptually and within aviation, 12 takes into consideration what is decentralization mean. So at 12, we take CO2 and we turn it into a world of products, fuels, chemicals, and things. We take CO2 as a feedstock, and so we are just at its core rethinking what does it mean to use carbon. So we've all been taught, especially in the climate space, that carbon is the enemy. But if you take it, you revalorize it, you give it new life, it can actually be a whole host of other things. So carbon transformation is what our company does. And so the core technology behind it is CO2 electrolysis. We take CO2, water, and renewable electricity to electrochemically kind of realign the molecules of those component parts, which can yield just a whole host of fuels and chemicals and things. We are focusing on jet fuel to start, and I'll get to that in a second. But the secret sauce that really powers our core technology is our proprietary catalyst. So the photo on the left here is our benchtop scale catalyst that's sprayed on our membrane electrode assembly that you plug into a PEM or PEM water electrolyzer, which is how we scaled to start. And so you run CO2 and water through the catalyst, the secret sauce there, and on the other, combined with power, we create syngas or carbon monoxide. This is a technology that's coming out of Stanford, where my co-founders spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, some blood, sweat, and tears really thinking about how to solve the climate crisis. Like, what can you do with CO2? So with CO2 and with water, with a few iterations of the catalyst, there's actually 16 different molecules that you can create. So why did we focus on the CO2 to CO transformation process? Because we wanted to focus specifically on jet fuel. So how many folks in the room got here or have flown on a plane in the past week, say? Okay. How many people have like some kind of foam in their shoes? Boy, do I have a product for you in a couple of years. So we are focusing on fuels partially because we've done a couple of different just pilot projects to see what is the CO2 to CO market, what could that look like, what could you make, what could you build, and we decided through a grant through the Air Force that the CO2 all the way through to fuels integration is actually really elegant and there could be a significant market for it. It's also a way to decentralize the aviation space. So the aviation space is dominated by a few big names. Boeing, for example. And the fuel space is also dominated by just a few major producers. So we are really excited about the products that we're building, predominantly our e-jet fuel, which is up to 90% lower life cycle emissions compared to conventional kerosene. And as part of the process that we get from CO2 all the way to fuels, there is about 20% of that, 20% is a chemical called naphtha that actually naphtha rather, that folks in this room might actually have heard about. Most of the rooms that I talk to have never heard of naphtha, and that is okay. But naphtha enables our kind of CO2 made marketing line, whereby we think about, what are all the things that are made from chemicals today, if you can replace the carbons in those chemical compounds with carbons coming from the air as opposed to carbons coming from the ground, we're really excited about a world of what that all could look like. So just a little bit more about 12. We are based in Berkeley, California. We are about 275 people. We were founded in 2015 and really spent the first 6 years scaling up our CO2 electrolysis technology from that benchtop scale all the way through to now, where we are building our first e-jet plant in Moses Lake, Washington, which is in eastern Washington. That will come online later this year, early next. It'll be about 40,000 gallons of fuel per year, which compared to the 100 billion gallons of fuel that folks or the aviation industry uses today is really a drop in the bucket. But like already today, I've talked to a couple of folks who are in the CO2 to fuel space or the other feedstock to sustainable aviation fuel space. And it's just been really incredible to meet folks and chat with folks about the possibility of what decentralizing this climate space, what that can yield. So it's really an exciting time. I think a couple of my major takeaways from today are that, we can do this. All of the people in this room who are innovating, from the big centralized folks like BASF through to other producers and other companies that are like 2 or 3 people who are doing truly amazing things. It just reminds me of why I'm here in the first place, and that it's a time for optimism because there is so much that we can do. My second major takeaway is that I'm really glad to see how many VCs and financing folks are here, and folks from DARPA as well, because it's going to take a lot of money to do it. 12 is in that valley right now where we are proving out our first commercial demonstration plant. We're in that first of a kind space. It's going to take a lot of money and a lot of human ingenuity to get past that. And I think the third main takeaway from today is that I'm so thrilled to be in this space where so many people are asking those tough questions. They're asking the why. They're asking does it have to be this way? Are we just doing it because we've always done it this way? And then how do we continue moving forward? And what is the right level of centralization to decentralization for each use case, and just getting to what the best world that we can live in can be. So that is all I have for you today, and I look forward to your questions. Thanks so much.